You're listening to Transmission on 4ZZZ, amplifying the trans and gender non-conforming voices of Brisbane and beyond.
Hello, hello! You're listening to Transmission on 4ZZZ. It is the one and only Ez. I go by he, him pronouns, and my wonderful best friend, partner in life, Kai.
Hi, I use they, them, and very occasionally she, her pronouns.
Welcome to the very first episode of Transmission ever. We're pretty much just going to be talking about trans things. So that makes this the greatest show pretty much around, because that's really important stuff.
Yeah, I'm into it.
You're just like, huh? So I'll give you a bit of a rundown of what Transmission's all about. We're about amplifying the voices of trans and gender non-conforming voices of Meanjin, Brisbane, and around the world. We actually have been spending a lot of time recently working on a transmission statement, which we will read out to you now about who we are. Would you take it away, Kai?
With great pleasure. We are Transmission, amplifying the trans and gender non-conforming voices of Meanjin, Brisbane and beyond.
We will, each week, endeavour to share stories, news, interviews and discussions that directly impact our community, shedding light on local and global issues.
We understand that the issues that affect trans people are sensitive and nuanced, and the members of our community have unique voices and perspectives. The trans community is not monolithic.
We understand that there are many different voices that make up the chorus of trans people everywhere. We will do our best to transmit those stories authentically here.
We strive to address each topic with care and compassion and to highlight diversity.
We hope to create content which is accessible and informative to allies whilst still centering trans and queer experiences.
We acknowledge that binary genders, binary sexes, and heteropatriarchy are colonist imports which have been violently enforced across the globe for millennia. Understandings of gender vary between cultures, and we seek to recognise them.
To our trans and gender non-conforming listeners, you are not alone. We're here to tell your stories. We are here for you. Yay! Transmission! So yeah, that's who we are. That's what we're about. We're two trans people in a studio on a freezing cold Brisbane morning. And we want to amplify your stories. We want to hear what you've got to say. If you've got any suggestions, things that you'd like to hear from either trans or genderqueer or queer artists, send them our way at Trans Radio, with a Z, of course. Check that out. Like us, follow us, message us. I'm obsessed with my Facebook page right now, so I will probably answer instantly. Tell us what's going on. Tell us what you'd like to hear. Kai and I intend on talking about lots of our really cool trans-friendly venues around Brisbane. Mm-hmm. We're going to go out and do the field research for you so that you don't have to. And then we'll tell you whether it's A-OK or not.
That's right. We've got a lot of fantastic ideas about who we want to talk to and what we want to talk about. We're going to cover as much as possible while we've got you here. So
yeah. We've also got some really, just to tease you a little bit, because I'm all about that, we've got some really awesome interviews that we may be getting over the next month or so, varying from possibly politicians and to all the way through to surgeons and medical practitioners. So get ready to learn more about what's happening in Brisbane and trans community of Brisbane. We're now about to talk about some news, some trans and gender news. It's a little bit dated, but it's totally worth mentioning because I think people should know about this. So Coles, trans and gender diverse staff of the giant supermarket chain, will now be entitled to up to 10 days of paid gender affirmation leave. This was around the time of International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia, Intersexism and Transphobia. That's pretty cool.
It's fantastic. I mean, apparently they have at least 900 team members across the nation that identify as trans or gender diverse. And you know what? Maybe more after they've announced this, that they're a safe place to work.
Yeah. I mean, I hope so. I know that there's plenty of jobs going around, so maybe that might give people some more incentive to look at Coles. Woolworths, sort your game out. What's going on?
Yeah, it sets a great precedent for other businesses, and I hope to see more of it coming up. Yeah,
yes, I completely agree. Speaking of other positive representation, also a little while back on Mother's Day, Kai, you actually showed me a Calvin Klein campaign featuring new families.
Oh, yeah, it was quite controversial, unfortunately, but I thought it was really, really beautiful. It featured a trans father who's currently pregnant and his wife or partner.
Who also is trans too, no?
Yes,
yeah.
And it is their biological child. So it was Roberto Bete and his partner Erica Fernandez, which will be their first child. And they were one of the families featured in the campaign, not the only family, but of course the only family that got that much attention.
You know what? I was very pleased with Calvin Klein taking such a bold leap. When I first saw it, I thought, wow, that's an incredible thing to see, especially as a trans man with the ability to get pregnant myself. I did see, it's nice to see that there is a possibility of, a positive, happy future. Representation in media is so important. So that's really cool.
Yeah, and exactly. It was beautiful. They look like a beautiful family, and I hope them all. They have all the best.
Speaking of brands, Target. So Target's Pride has this sort of gender-affirming clothes line coming out. This is pretty much exclusively the States, no?
Correct.
They talked about that.
It was just all over my newsfeed once it was announced. Everyone was so excited because it sounded like they were going to bring in binders at Target, so it would just be so accessible. Of course, everyone was so excited. It was through they were working with another company called Tomboy X, but unfortunately, it doesn't look like they are actually binders. They are just compression sports tops.
Or swimwear. There's compression swimwear there as well. So they're not... I did see a lot of stuff in the, trans social media groups that I'm in all across Brisbane and beyond, talking about how excited they were for this whole line coming out. And if you go to the Target, I think it's tinybeans.com Target Pride collection, it does sort of have a lot of pictures of people wearing lots of different types of gender-affirming wear from their line. There's definitely no binders. I did see a lot of people say, oh, binders, oh my gosh, Target's doing this, is amazing, it's a huge thing.
When will it come to Australia?
Yeah, when do we get it?
Yeah.
But in actual fact, it's not what it appears. So it's a little disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like you might be more likely to be able to get a binder from a My Chemical Romance concert than from a local shop.
Oh, yeah. So what's that about? That's like...
It was Frankie Arrow, who's in multiple bands, and I think does some solo work himself.
Yeah.
He's only teased it at this point, but wants to bring out some binders with some cool designs on them that you could buy as merchandise online, but also hopefully from their gigs.
I remember you saying that he was like, hey, so I get a lot of requests for merch, and this one seems to be like the most on brand for us.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
He also said he's not normally interested in taking any merch requests, but that this one
peaked, yeah.
It's a gap in the market, so no one is able to go in store and buy a binder and try it on and make sure they've got the right size in Australia, as far as I know.
Oh my gosh. The absolute nightmare that I had finding binders, which you know well, Kai, you know, is that I especially with testosterone, I grew so quickly. So and because I got really wide all of a sudden, all the binders I was wearing were slowly getting tighter on me, and they already are compression, you know, which can be dangerous. And then when I actually bought some new ones, they were I didn't know what size I was, and I had to send it back, and it cost me like $60, and
you've
it
got to
shipped from the
wait
States
2 months for shipping, and you've grown by that point, you know.
It's tiring.
And in the meantime, you're dealing with dysphoria. You know, it's just too long of a wait time and really frustrating.
No, I mean, we could have a whole segment on discussions about about the frustrations of lack of access to gender affirming wear, but Bonds are doing pretty good.
They are doing pretty good. I would love to see them bring out some binders and other kind of gender affirming wear.
Yeah.
That would be really exciting. Also some swimwear for trans femmes and masks. That would be really excellent.
Some of the cool stuff about it too is that I think that Bonds is actually most likely to be the big company that makes a binder first. I mean, if I had to put money on a brand that's going to go, yes, we will do global gender affirming wear.
Oh yeah.
You know, I would say it's Bonds. I mean, you look at their presence for Mardi Gras and Pride festivals and marches.
They've been involved for years, and
heavily.
not just since marriage equality, you know, not just since it was okay.
Not since rainbow capitalism as well.
Oh yeah.
You know, which is a later segment we will discuss more about. But yeah, it's just cool.
With their ungenderwear project, they've even got a bunch of frequently asked questions down the bottom. You can find online if you search it. We did actually struggle to find it on the website.
Is it bonds.com.au?
Bonds.com.au, but I just search Bonds genderwear, ungenderwear.
The Ungenderwear Project.
Yeah.
More love, less labels.
Exactly. Well, they were even talking about how binary fashion is and why is it like this? What does it mean to try to remove this binary from gender? They still have men and women as categories on their website, but little steps, baby steps.
Baby
I love what
steps.
they've done so far. Would love to see more.
All the models, too, for all their Ungenderwear Project are all trans and queer. Awesome. So cool. So if you're ever actually out there going, I wonder what, you know, company I can spend my money on to buy just, you know, some underwear, and you know that the money's going to a company that genuinely cares, Bonds is where it's at.
Yeah. Also, I know that all Bonds store employees wear pronoun badges.
Yes. I'd be curious to know if that's a requirement. As in, if it's just not individually a store-based thing, or if it's
I think they all
across
wear
the
it.
company. Yeah, that's cool. Huh. Well, there you go. Learning some new things. Anyway, you're listening to Transmission on 4ZZZ. My name is Ez, and I'm here with...
Kai.
Hi, Kai. I'm going to make that a thing now. You know that. Transmission. Where are this is episode 00001. So I hope you're enjoying what you're hearing. Everything on Transmission is produced by trans people for trans people. It's also, our logo has been designed by trans people. Xander Patterson from SAE, thank you for helping us out there. And we've also got June, which you may have heard June's voice on lots of other things around the station. June is actually in the production department here and is also part of Transmission as well. And they do a wonderful job of making a lot of the sounds that you will hear from the show in the future. We are now about to talk about a particular topic that... I feel like we should let people know about this because we've been not told, but someone has said to me recently, "Oh, good timing for your new show. It's at the beginning of Pride Month," and I'm like, "It is June. Pride Month is not in June. Not in my city. I don't know where you're from, but Pride Month is September in Brisbane, Meanjin. So if you are wondering why there's lots of Pride stuff on and around online on your social media, that is because it is currently summer in the United States.
And Pride Month in the United States.
Exactly. Yes.
That's not the only reason they have their Pride Month in the United States, is to commemorate Stonewall and the riots that happened there.
I think it's important for us as well to commemorate that in our own way.
Absolutely. It's a huge part of history.
Yeah, massive. Oh, round of applause. Yeah, absolutely. Huge moment. But it does, because of these double Pride months that we've got going on, it does encourage this thing called rainbow capitalism. If you don't know what it is, I am now about to read Wikipedia. What is rainbow capitalism? It's also called pink capitalism, homo capitalism, or gay capitalism. Is the incorporation of the LGBTIQ plus movement, and basically pinkwashing to capitalism, consumerism, gentrification, and the market economy. So essentially, what's happening is there are companies out there that may or may not actually be LGBTIQ plus positive, but fauxing that in a way to make money. Rainbow capitalism. Is that's sort of the gist of it?
That's kind of the gist. It's more that they'll use rainbow branding and virtue signaling to make lots of money, rather than utilizing that time to advocate for queer people and maybe donate some of their profits. But why? Why do I have to be so inundated with all of this? When it's that they will forget about us the rest of the year, and a lot of the really big companies that have that are in they're global companies in countries where it's not so cool to be LGBTQIA, they will not be celebrating Pride Month.
Their logos do not change on their Facebook pages.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just because they're safe and it's somewhere. It's a way they can make money rather than because it's something they believe in.
Yes. Do you think that this is problematic? Because I think it's problematic.
Well, it's hard to say. I don't think I think it is problematic, but I also think that it is, it's really getting it out there, and I guess they are running the risk of losing money from homophobes, but I think it's gotten to the point where the tables turned so that they were like, okay, the profit is bigger than the loss, and that's why they've made that choice to start painting the town in rainbows. It's just really infuriating and gross to have my identity kind of sold back to me.
Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like, hey? I mean, there's a lot of the origins of like how this sort of came about was that, as the West became more positive and queer positive as a general, it's only really those companies that are like targeting the West, and not moving into like other maybe Southeast Asian countries. Even they're not adopting positive and rainbow positive stuff. There's really it is quite irritating. We also talked a little bit about how the origins of Pride Month. So like
it's a riot.
Yeah,
it's a protest.
Exactly.
It was certainly not PG.
Here's your little rainbow pins, $3. So this but yeah, in terms of making you aware out there that rainbow capitalism is a thing, and just to be mindful that you can always, like, if you're unclear about a particular company and where they stand, you can always do your own research. You can always go and take a look. Like we talked about Bonds earlier this morning. Bonds are a great company and they're very forward focused on LGBTIQ plus rights. They're usually, especially in Pride Month, both in the US and in Australia.
I think they've mostly released their Pride stuff for like Mardi Gras rather than.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. But I did just want to say more Pride events does not necessarily have to mean more capitalism. I am happy for more time to celebrate being queer. But you know what? I'm also here for queer wrath and gluttony, all the other sins.
Queer riot, queer chaos, or something of the sort. But no, these are all really important things. Like paint the town rainbow. every September, as far as I'm concerned. The more that it's out there, the better. We know the whole point of Pride originally is about being loud and being seen and being in your face. And the reason that is there is because we're not heard, right? Like that's really the struggle. Originally, there's been that gay and lesbian movement, which is another part of history. Sort of, it's a bit can be a bit separate from trans histories in some ways, and a little nuanced as well. Like, there's a very overlap. It's a very complex system.
Oh yeah, I mean, I just
LGBTQ+.
have so much to say about that. I think we'll have to have a whole other episode.
Oh
about
no,
that
okay, all
sometime.
right, fine. I won't wind you up too much. I hope you've been enjoying our conversations here on Transmission with Ez and
Kai, and it's such an honour to be here doing this show. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to get in contact with us at Trans Radio with a Z for trans,
because this is 4ZZZ, so we got a Z in there. Yeah. And we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Message us. Tell us what you like. Transmission, this show is all about amplifying the trans and gender non-conforming voices of Brisbane, Mianjin. So, we want to hear what you are saying and what you would like for us to amplify for you. We're here for you. And there's nothing makes me happier than amplifying, the voices of my community. So message us. Tell us what you'd like to hear. Tell us what music you like or any artists that you think would be cool. We're playing pretty much exclusively trans and queer artists. None of them sissies here. Sissies with a C, in case you're wondering. Yeah, that's what we're all about. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say other than next week, tune in. That's us.
yeah, we love it.
We love it. So, on that note, we'll say goodbye. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to Transmission. See you next Tuesday, 9 to 10 a.m. on 4ZZZ.